What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Man, you guys are piling in early on a Friday. I love it. I like it. I love it. And I want some more of it. We got Al in the house. Good morning to Albert. Good morning to Amy, Andrew, Utah, Bell, Bill, Brian in the house. Good morning to Cindy, David. We got Julie rocking with us. Good morning to Jay, Linder. Good morning, Jeff Helms. Good morning. We got Joe in the house, JT, Kevin, Martina, Wally. What is happening? Oh, my peeps out of YouTube land, we got M Sky. Good morning to you. All my lurkers in the back of YouTube. It's okay. I still love you. Just hit that like and subscribe button. M Sky says Boeing to 190. We broke that 200 level yesterday. We'll check it out, though, for sure. Man, oh, man, oh, man. Are we seeing a rotation? I think we're seeing a little rotation. We'll see how long it holds. But we got some of the tech names down, some of the chip names down, but if we're looking at the SPY is approaching all-time highs. We are above the last 2 days VPOC, so we're going to have some kind of support now at 487.81. That's my first spot that I want to see hold. And then we're looking at 486.88. And back when I was on yesterday afternoon, what was it, 4 to 5 time frame Eastern, we were looking at this candle after the market closed. It still got some bullish sentiment in it. So we did obviously try to come down a little bit. Bulls came right back in. They pushed this thing right back up. And the whole question was, where do we gap? Where do we open? If we start opening below this candle yesterday, that's going to show a little bit more weakness. That takes us down to like 483.86. We start breaking that. We get down to like 482. And then we get that big kind of dip sell off that takes us into this 476 range, which is a pretty, we still could be bullish. I mean, we're not that far off the highs, but that's still a big move. People are going to feel it. However, we're opening pretty strong in the gap. We got 27 minutes to that opening bell. We'll see if we could hold. But this entire red candle was a retest day from here. We kind of assumed that was going to be the case, not buying all-time highs right at open. They tried to bring it down again, and this little wick here tells me that their bulls are still in the game, still fighting, and we're opening above a pretty good spot. So I do want to continue to remain bullish in this market. We'll take a look at the Qs, because the Qs had some earnings really around Intel, and all the chips are kind of getting a little beat up off of the Intel earnings, which weren't bad in terms of we'll pull up Intel in a second, but I think it was more the earnings per share that they missed more than anything. Out of all of the stocks in the chip land, Intel, if you remember, Intel's been a little bit of the shakier one in general in the first place. We do have AMD coming out with earnings next. I believe that's the 30th. We'll check that out too. But so that's the next one that could maybe save it. And AMD is going to affect Nvidia probably more than Intel is going to affect Nvidia. But they're all kind of coming down a little bit. This is kind of smack in the middle, so 50% retracement in between VPOCs at least. So I'm looking for some kind of resistance at 425.78, and then I'm looking for some kind of support at 422.45. It's going to be hard, I think, for the SPY to really start to push without the Qs. However, I do think we're kind of in an environment where, like, we're still bullish. People want to own stock still. Right? During the 2008 housing crisis, the market was absolutely getting crushed because nobody wanted to own anything. Very different than now. During COVID, everybody's freaking out. We don't know what's happening. Nobody wants to own anything during that time frame. Right? And that's where you see the markets kind of dip. But we're seeing just kind of a little rotation today, if anything. And we could be right back into Qs and tech rocking everything for, I don't know, the remaining months of the year. Who knows what happens? Maybe the rotation comes right back and this is going to be a buyable dip eventually. For today, I don't know what that catalyst would be that would really get people excited again about tech, unless we dip and people just still buying everything tech dip. We'll see. But the Qs I'll be a little cautious of. I'm not sure if we use this support first with the resistance, but I think if we get closer to this 425.78, that's going to be my spot to start to look short, maybe again on some of the techs. And then if we get into this 422.63, maybe even into like 422, I'm gonna say we want to take a stab at buying some dips around that point. So out of the gate, Qs probably just leave it alone. SPY does look a little bit stronger, and I do think that some of that tech money is rotating into some other individual names. Let's check out TLT. That was a little bit rough yesterday, or not so much yesterday. Yesterday was pretty much a small inside day. The day before, nice bearish engulfing candle. Hasn't really broke down that level. In fact, yesterday's VPOC did close above 2 and maybe 3 days there. So we are building a little bit of support on TLT. We're going to have all these moving averages putting a little pressure on us. We'll see where we want to move from that point. But probably another just inside chop day, I would assume. I really don't want to see this 93.27 breakdown. Otherwise, we have a little bit further to go. And then people start talking about bonds again. A little bit heavier. All the talking heads on TV, CNBC. But we'll see. Let's take a look real quick at Intel, since that's the one that reported yesterday, and that's the one putting a little bit of fear into the markets. We did have a sell day yesterday. On earnings day, we have a lot of volume, but we typically have a decent amount of volume on days that companies report, and a lot of that volume is actually accounting for probably after hour stuff too. So I'm going to put very little weight onto that one specifically. Although in the future, that is one to look at. Otherwise, this is a retest gap. We're breaking 2 key levels, right? So we should have a good support somewhere around 45.84. We're gapping way below that. However, we're still sitting at a little bit of support down here, maybe even into like this 44.34. And we'll see. I think the way, if you want to play it, I don't know if it's the best play, but I think if you want to play something like this, you're going to see if this one wants to come down a little bit further, shake a couple more people out, maybe into this 44 range. Probably not an immediate buy, but if some candles set up there that look good, some kind of reversal pattern, double bottom down at 44, that might not be a bad spot to try. Otherwise, I'm looking for down here, I think would be a much stronger. We do have a moving average down at 42. So I'd want to see if we kind of come down into this 42 range. And then if we get that bounce, that would look great. Otherwise, if this thing starts to move higher, probably somewhere around 46 would be my next spot to kind of short. So again, I'd be patient here at open and see which direction it wants to give us first. But I like something like that or something like this, and we'll probably stay a little bit range bound. Don't forget that they did make a pretty insane amount of money. I mean, we beat on most things for Intel. The biggest one I think was the earnings per share. I don't know. They're saying we beat on earnings per share by 20%. From the early reports that I saw, it looked like we missed by like 20 cents. So I'm not sure exactly what this one is. The other thing I think that throws a little caution into the actual earnings report is their AI division was pretty much in line with expectations. It was either a small beat, small miss. It was by legit $1 million or $2. It wasn't anything crazy. So the problem with that is if you're priced to perfection, where you are just absolutely tearing up the charts, and you're approaching not all-time highs, but you're getting pretty definitely into 52-week highs, you don't really want to see your major growth catalyst kind of come in line. You want something to beat. And I think that's where the pressure now sits onto. They kind of kick the can down to AMD and say, you give it a shot. Let's see if your numbers are going to be any better. So we'll check that out. Let's go to AMD, see if this one's gapping a little bit. It is not as much. I don't think this is a buy the dip opportunity yet. Probably playing this to the short side would make a little more sense. Look for some kind of first support or resistance, 178.51, and then see if we do come back into like this 180.42 zone. And I think both those spots would be a good opportunity to take a stab at the short direction. Even at open, you have pretty good risk reward to the downside. For my target for the day would be about 168.63 if this thing could pull back. But again, I would love to see some kind of buy the dippers come in right at the open. Maybe some people from this This is more of a profit taking candle than it is an actual, hey, I got to put some shorts out there. But heading into the Intel earnings, there was probably some shorts on AMD that those guys might be profitable. How long do you want to sit on a short side for AMD? That's the question. Uh, Also Nvidia. Like, do you really want to be short for a long time? That's tough. That's tough. They definitely have some stops in place. We'll see. And then we'll check Nvidia, and then we'll go to some of your tickers as well. Mm, Same thing. We do have a good amount of room on Nvidia to the short side. I wish this thing's got a much stronger resistance, 616.99 at this point. And then next real target isn't until 598, so could be about $18 more to the downside. Same concept though. This is an inside. We're gapping down. It's inside candle. I would love to see this thing get bought up to like 1616 and then really start to look to go to the short side of things. Maybe a green high wave candle at open, something like that would be good here too. I'm gonna move Nvidia up. Out of the two of them, I kind of like Nvidia short over AMD, just because I think we have a little bit more range, a little bit more to work with. But I think both to the short side would be decent. Um, and I kind of do want both to open up, get some excited buyers, and then trap some bulls if possible. Lucian's in the house. Good morning, Lucian. Let's see if I missed any tickers. So I got pins. PINS. Lurkins in the house. Good morning. We got Nathan. Yep, Nathan wants pins as well. Pin interests. Outperforms board market. What do I need to know? Pinterest ended the recent trading session at 36.99, demonstrating a 1.29% swing from preceding day close. Yada yada yada. All right, earnings disclosure. This is an upgrade. This is an old article. Computer technology sector. Currently, this industry holds Zach's. I don't care about you, Zach Morris. All right. When did this thing come out? This is the 25th, so this is yesterday. Not sure why we're getting a little gap up. I don't see anything immediate, at least from Trading View news. That is a really good gap, though. That is a terrific gap. What's the short float on pin? I don't know if it has a good short float. 7%. That's not bad. That is pretty good, actually. Next immediate target would be probably 39.04. We could do a little with that. The bigger one is $40.51. It's a much better target. It is a really, really good gap, though. Yeah, I'll put it on the list. Technically, this would be a retest from yesterday. I don't know how much that plays out. Yesterday's candle was technically a inside candle, so I don't put that much weight behind it. I put more weight to this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Kind of flat, but all red, and then more so on this little move down. So if this thing could pull back, especially like $38.20, this would look pretty good. Looks like a nice little bull flag we just broke out of. You're gonna have some people profitable in this trade already. Mainly these people. Obviously anybody in here too. But anybody who kind of enjoyed that little move, this is a good gap for them. This I think I would love to see a little pullback on this thing. And I think a great candidate for high wave at open. High wave at open setup. I'm gonna start making that a play. The high wave at open play. But yeah, I like it. Targets, I mean, I don't love targets. Like it's not crazy targets on it, but it does have a 7% short float, so it could go kind of nutty. All right, I can vibe with that one. That's decent. All right. Cindy says Exxon Mobile had a really good day yesterday. Really fantabulous day. Let's see. So a couple things on this one. Obviously, you got 4 days in a row bullish. We did kind of come in and close this mini gap. We might have a little bit more room to close this gap into like the close of that candle, but into the wick we did kind of sort of close it, and we're sitting right at the top. I would think there's some more bullish momentum in here, but then I'd have to be a little scared of like 103.33. Even at open, to see if we get some kind of a pullback first, and then look to buy. Just give myself a little better risk reward. But up in this zone, anywhere from 133.44 down to 102.51. That's going to be a little bit of resistance on this one. Clear resistance here. We also hit this zone up here. We hit this kind of, this was support at one point, and we're just running back into that. So I still kind of want to remain a little bit more to the bullish side after 4 days of buying. I would love to see a little bit more of a pullback, like longer term. I don't know if that's going to happen, but something to like this extent and then go. Almost create that head and shoulders as a swing. So if you're looking for a swing trade, I'd want to see something like that. Otherwise, day trade wise, you got a good, maybe about $1 in here before, and obviously depending if there's news, if there's breakouts, if whatever happens in the oil sector, that's going to affect things a little bit. But that looks good up until, I would say, really just under 106 in a little bit longer term basis. And then if we could start breaking through that, I'd want to see that break, that retest, and then kind of move from there. But nice one momentum the last few days, especially yesterday though. Pucks, yeah, you got the puck down here, correct? But you also have that puck. It is stair stepping up higher every day. So this would be a good spot for some people to want to just especially the people targeting that gap fill. Like they're there. They're already there. So maybe a little bit of a pullback. Maybe we start to retest into some of those VPOCs and then we move. But it is running bullish, at least short term, so that's good. And then the only obstacle, of course, is just that little bit of resistance. We can start getting above that. Then this looks like a decent bear trap down here. I mean, there's the secondary support. This one even came a little bit lower. This one looks like it was about to just fall off. We held it and we started to break. So something like that would be perfect. But day trade wise, I'd probably have to watch it. Swing trade wise, I do like it a little bit more. Zach Morris, the epic pumper dumper. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see. We got Boeing. Mm-mm-mm. M Sky's calling 190 today. You heard it here first. Breaking news. So I drew this fib out yesterday. And this right here, somewhere in here is 618. So this is 211.37 in a longer term basis. We did break down through that. So that's already going to be weak. This is kind of just a retest into that 618. We got rejected. And I do think we continued further downwards. So I could get on board with that. This would be a continuation play from yesterday. I don't think anything really new happened in the like we're gonna start making planes again. Uh It probably will. I think it's probably going to be an inside day today. If I had to take a stab at this one, there are some things in here. If I was bullish Boeing, that I kind of like. I kind of don't mind. One, if I was bullish and I wanted to take a stab at a swing trade, you got your double bottom. Okay, it's worth a shot. You also technically came down with this move and retested those fibs and those the VPOCs, and that could be your spot for like, okay, we retested, now we could go again, right? So I like that. I also like this wick a lot too. So obviously we got down. We also cleared past 200 yesterday. That was going to be a big support. I know in the live trade room we were looking at that for, hey, maybe we just throw some orders at 200, see what happens. And then we ended up breaking. Right? We didn't take the trade, but it broke. And the bulls did buy it right back up. So now you have anybody who's shorting underneath here got trapped into this trade. So you have some bears trapped. You got to trap somebody to start it. And then I do have targets, even like as a smaller trade. Obviously the open from yesterday would look like a probably initial target. But then maybe even back into like this 212 zone again. So we get back to 212. I think that would be a much bigger resistance on this thing. Or that's probably, if I was bullish, I could throw my stop under here. If that collapses, that's not good. I would just stop me out. That's fine. Anywhere in the zone that open, that would be my my buy zone. So this is a very small risk to reward compared to a decent 2R trade. Okay. So bullish, I could make a case. Now let's flip the coin. Bearish. They're not making planes. The whole purpose of the company is to make planes. They're not allowed to do that no more until the investigation, which I don't know who's investigating or how long that's going to take. But that's not great. I can't imagine this earnings call is going to be fun. You got that coming up soon. So be careful on the swings just in case something happens crazy. But you do have this gap and go. So you got some bulls stepping in here. You're trapping some bulls here. You're trapping pretty much any bulls that jumped in there. So you are trapping some of these bulls. It definitely looks like this probably longer term goes like this, I think. And you get that continuation, but there's no good news on Boeing right now. There's nothing really crazy. You do have a technical gap and go. But I could see this being an interesting spot for bulls. And then I could look for bears to come in a little bit short. So I think today, just with some indecision, we probably stay inside this candle, try to figure out what to do. And maybe knowing that the earnings are this close, we kind of punt the can down the road into earnings date. We just kind of hang out in this range and then figure out what they want to say on the conference call. And then we're like, oh, yeah, no, Boeing is the greatest company. Or Boeing, we knew it. They suck. So one of those two things happen. But I think we probably stay within this range. And if we do that, this is actually a good buy spot compared to continue selling. That being said, that 190 price target, I think that's a little low, maybe for a day trade today. If we do start breaking this down and like none of this holds, and I would, for that to happen, I would be looking more at this zone right here. So this is 201.28, maybe a little bit lower. So maybe like if we break that 200 again, I think we start to lose some of the bulls. So watch that 200 level. Anything above 200, I'd still be on the bullish camp from here, just on that range. Buy low, sell high. But if we break 200, I think that 190, yeah, that's a good target for today. I would be looking a little bit longer term out to like 178, somewhere in that zone. And hopefully they can fly a plane by then. I don't know. They can still make other models. I believe they can. It's just the one that the screws aren't tight enough. Those ones, apparently you need all your screws tightened. But they also order the parts from IKEA. So I mean, to give Boeing credit, those manuals to build anything from IKEA, they're really tough to read. So I get it. I'm not all anti-Boeing. All right, let's see what other we got. Santilla says, but BITO. Is that the Bitcoin ETF? Got you some BITO. Probably is going to move a lot like probably going to move a lot like Bitcoin, I would imagine. On a 618 basis. And if you're a believer in the crypto space and you're like crypto is the wave of the future, I don't mind changing my real dollars in for digital coins. Then you probably wouldn't mind buying these dips. So the next spot, if you're doing some kind of like dollar cost average, next spot for me would be about 18.30. And then I'd be looking for like $17. So see if we get those pullbacks. But the good news is you're in now, and that's going to avoid some FOMO of like, hey, when should I get in? I do like crypto and I want to get some kind of action into it. So yeah, you're in, whether it's up or down, doesn't matter. Crypto is going to be a long time game if it's going to work. And those would be the two next spots I would be looking to do some kind of dollar cost average. Amazon. AXP. Yeah, I think AXP reported earnings. I think Visa did too. What do we got? 3 minutes. Hurry it up, DJ. Yeah, I gotta look for some continuation on Amazon as well. That's gonna go up there. Very similar analysis to pins. So you got some bullish buying. See if we get that little high wave at open. That looks fantastic though. I think all we really need is 158.52 to break, and then we got targets to about 160.14 after we break through that. She gone. So that looks good. I like it. Let me see. I got AXP. I got 2 minutes left. AXP. I don't know if we've already hit this in pre-market, but 193.93 is my target. Otherwise, anywhere around that zone, I'm probably looking for a fade. It is a really nice gap, but that is a retest in every stretch of the imagination. So I think this one pulls back longer term. If it comes back down into this 188.73, might be a spot to look to buy. But day trade wise, I probably don't want to go long on it. Let me see what else we got. We got pins we did look at. Pins is on the list for us to trade today. Coin looks actually really nice. Yeah, I'm gonna move coin up to coin bullish. We got like less than a minute left. Coin bullish, probably targets on this one 133, 133.20, and then support somewhere around 124.09. So it's got a little bit of room in there too. Got Microsoft, MSFT. I'm trying to get to as many as possible. A little bit of gap down, inside candle, high wave. If tech struggles, the Qs can't survive today, then I think this one comes down, but look for support at 403.25. Resistance 405.05. Probably not that appealing out of the gate, but if we get some kind of a double top, something like that at 404.94, or double bottom at 403.25 in that zone, that's what I'm going to take. But unfortunately, that's my time. That's my week, YouTube. That's crazy. Kind of went a little too quick for me. We're going to work on slowing that down for next week. But everybody out there, YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back with you guys on Monday, and we'll see what the market has in store for